Everybody, it's been a minute. Actually, it's been forever. Yeah. Do I have to explain myself? This is the reason why I haven't been doing anything else. Haven't been keeping up with my other commitments. It's because of this game. Welcome to Fire Emblem Three Houses. That's right, Fire Emblem Three Houses. Wow. There's a lot. There's a lot that this game has to offer. This game is it is something else to say. It is something else. Let's talk about the plot, shall we? Welcome to the land of Fodlan, right? Welcome to the land of Fodlan. There was a war that happened, and now you got these three different fucking clans, aka houses, aka think of the Harry Potter universe, like fucking houses, like fucking Gryffindor and all that shit. But this game has houses as too. I know houses is like a fucking noble term, right? It's a noble term, but if you don't know what houses mean, in the fucking Three Houses name, you know what I mean? Fire Emblem Three Houses, it refers to like fucking three noble families, like three fucking noble fucking clans. You get it? You understand? Okay, cool. So three fucking houses fucking are trying to take control of fucking Fodlan, right? This one epic country. But for now they're just chilling right now. For now they're just fucking getting to know each other. Just having a good time before before an all-out war. But you know what? Whatever, it doesn't matter. And at the center of it all is the Church of Saros. Very poggers, very awesome right there. And you play as Belaeth, whatever his fucking name is. I'm gonna call him Belaeth, the blue-haired person, the Ashen Demon. Very cool, very pogger, right? You could be female, male, doesn't matter. You can also change your name as well if you want to. And also you can customize your birth date and all that. But yeah, canonically your name is Belaeth, so that's something to keep in mind, And yeah, you play as the professor, you fucking pick a house, win with the house, yeah. Also, I forgot to mention that this review will be spoiler free. Yeah. Let me get the game. Let me get the game, man. Let me get the game. Right here. Fire Emblem Three Houses. Literally says you play as the professor, so not even a spoiler, right? You pick three houses, very cool, right? Very awesome. Let's divide this review into sections, right? Talking about the story, the gameplay, and obviously visuals and sound and all that, and artistic style and all of that. So let us talk about the story of this game. So you play in the beginning. You play as this mercenary, very poggers, and you gotta save the three houses, right? You gotta save the three future house leaders, so that one day you may become. You save the three house leaders and you join one of the house leaders, right? One of their epic clans, and you have to fucking guide your house to victory, right? That's basically the entire premise of this game, right? You save three people, you gotta pick one people to fucking lead the world. That's not a spoiler. That's literally the name of the game. I'm not gonna spoil much, but if you love a story with great plot twists, actually, just a lot of plot twists in general. There are some plot twists that just don't make sense at all, but this game has a lot of plot twists. A lot of very epic plot twists. Some good, some bad. But if you enjoy a bunch of plot twists in this game, feel free. I guess feel free to fucking feel free. Feel free to fucking get spooked, get jump scared by, oh no, so and so did this, and oh no, so and so actually is this. It's gonna happen a lot in this game. Also, something to keep in mind. There are three routes to this game, hence the name Three Houses. So that's not a spoiler. You just kind of know that. But I guess what is a spoiler is that there's actually a secret fourth route. So I mean, I guess you can keep that in mind. But I'll let you guys figure out what the fourth route is. And anybody who's fucking played the fourth route, don't spoil it, okay? This is a spoiler-free review. But yeah, the story. Let's talk about it. Obviously you play as a teacher and all that. And honestly, the teacher aspect of the game is, I feel like, the weakest. For sure, right? You play as a professor teaching these students, but I would say that, like, that's the weakest part. That is definitely the weakest part in this game. In this game about being a teacher, the weakest point is being the teacher, right? Because hear me out here, right? The teaching system, I feel like, could be reworked a little bit. In that, like, I feel like in the story, I just feel like a messenger, doing a bunch of fetch quests, doing being a little bitch slave to my fucking house leader, you know what I mean? Because obviously you gotta work together with your house leader to fucking be the best house, in the fucking game. That's not a spoiler, that's literally in the goddamn name, right? Literally in the goddamn name. But yeah, something to keep in mind, you play as a silent protagonist, Not a spoiler, because literally the first 5 minutes of the game, you realize that, yeah, your protagonist doesn't like talking at all. And later in the game, it's explained why, but... So yeah, they actually have a reason for why, but, whatever. The point is, silent protagonist kind of just sitting there and not really doing much. As a teacher, but as everything else, yeah. We'll get to, like, the whole technical aspect of, like, being a teacher and all that, but story-wise, as a teacher, I don't know, you're just kind of, like, there, And it's not only until, like, much, much later does everybody recognize the importance of your fucking status, but, in the very beginning of the game, you're not really respected as a teacher. You're definitely, like... You definitely are told that you're a teacher. Characters refer to you as a teacher, but you're more like their friend. You're more like their friend. At least the house that I played in. Actually, maybe I can't blame the game for that, because I did pick house, the red house. I picked red house. I don't know. Maybe blue house and yellow house. Maybe they teach. Maybe they give me more of a teacher vibe. Maybe they respect me more as a teacher. But in the red house, they talk to me like they're their friend, like they're my friends or something. And I'm like, no, I'm your goddamn teacher. But then, like, right now as I'm saying this, I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, I mean, they did see that they did want to talk to me like I'm their friend and not their teacher. For Red House. So, I mean, maybe story-wise, maybe that's kind of my fault. Yeah. But even still, my point still stands. I mean, if I'm gonna be a teacher, like, well, might as well, right? Might as well. So yeah, maybe that was my fault for picking Red House, but I mean, I didn't know that, so I guess now that I think about it, that's not really the game's fault, but that's still a complaint I have, just not the game's fault. Alright. Yeah. So, plot twists, being teachers, kinda cool, and is there, oh yeah, biggest thing. If being the teacher is the weakest point of this game, the character interactions as a teacher and with the rest of your students is the best part of this game, right? Best part of this game. I know. Being the teacher itself is kind of crappy, but being able to, like, interact with your students is probably the best part of this game. Without spoilers, like, yeah, your character, gets to talk with your students, and, you get to build support, Your supports can support you, yeah, and you can support them. And the students can support each other, and the students can support other teachers. Like, there is this web, right? There is this web of just, like, there's just web of like connectivity, and depending on how you, I guess, put characters right next to each other, depending on how you put your characters right to each other, right next to each other, it depends on how the relation affects with each other. So for example, you know, you can recruit people from other houses, and I mean, yeah, you can do that. Like, that's kind of insane, right? You can let them mingle with your students, and your students can mingle with other students. Like certain students you can mingle with, and you know, you can actually recruit most students into your house. Like, and each student will have different cutscenes with every other student. Like, that's crazy to think about. That is actually so crazy to think. Like, every student has an interaction with every student. Yeah? With every student. Like, that's nuts. That is nuts. Like, somebody do the permutations of that. Like, if there are like 9 students in each house, plus like the house leaders, so like let's say 10. Yeah, let's just say 10. 10 people, right? 10 people in every goddamn house. That's like a combination. Yeah, like combinations, permutations. I don't know what the math that, but that's like, there's a cutscene for every single one. Like, you can like what is it? You got like 10 people times 10 people times 10 people. That's like a bunch of fucking different character interactions. And depending on how like long the characters have known each other for, they're up to let's see. So you got CBAS. So you have and depending on that like character interaction, right? Fucking like depending on how like on how close the characters could be, like the potential, you can get up to like S tier or some shit. Like, you know, I'm doing a rough estimate because some characters that you can only get to like support level A, but you know, if we're doing like some quick maths, 10 times 10 times 10, that's 100 times 10. So is that 1,000? 1,000 times what? 1,000 times 4? This is just a rough estimate. So there's like that's like 4,000. 4,000. Like, that's a rough estimate. Different combinations. If that's how combinations work, I don't know, to be honest. I think that's how combinations work, but that's a rough estimate. Like, it's like 4,000 different character combinations. Like, depending on like, you know, who interacts with who, you get to decide that. Who interacts with who. There could be like 4,000 different character interactions. You get to see like the sides of people. You get to like see like, oh, these two people that would never meet, oh, they get to meet because you decide that. And you know, they get to be friends or enemies, or like just they don't know each other, or they could know each other. Like, oh my god, the character interactions in this game is insane. Actually insane. Like, wow. That is like attention to detail. I guarantee you, right? It's not the plot, it's not the gameplay, it's not even like the story that took like the, you know, took the most time in development. It's the character interactions. Like, the attention to details of this stuff, where every single character can interact with every single character, and and they could either be best friends, or they can be not even know each other, barely know each other. Like, just that wide scope of margin, and you have to fucking program every little cutscene just for that, just for the duos that do show up with each other. It is just crazy, absolutely crazy. That is something I just cannot just stress. Like, what? Like, you can do that? What? like whoa. That is just like, wow. That just blows my mind, honestly. That just blows my mind. And just the attention to detail, right? That brings me to another thing, right? Like, I played this game on classic mode. In classic mode, this isn't a spoiler because I mean it's part of the game. You know, right in the beginning, you know, when you're trying to select your difficulty and stuff, I chose classic mode where every character that you lose in the game dies, right? Dies in the game, and you can't use them anymore. It also applies to the story as well, which is like, what? Because believe it or not, yeah, every student that you pick in your house, you know, you don't just interact with the house, you also interact with your students as well. You can interact with everybody, but you interact with your students the most, right? And, you know, like, if there's a mission or whatever, then, yeah, every student will have something to say. Will have something interesting to say, obviously, not to mention character interactions and stuff like that. But if you lose your character in battle, they immediately die in the game. Like, first you can't even, like, touch them. Like, first you can't even interact with them. Like, in battle, and they kind of just fucking disappear. Like, slowly but surely, they just disappear from the main game entirely, you know what I mean? So, like, it's almost as if, like, they died in battle, so they died in the story as well, which is, like, insane to think about. Like, you get, like, the ability to just, like, remove dialogue if you lose your character in battle is like, oh, shit. They're just gone. Like, I faced this. One of the characters I lost was Doritha. Doritha from the Red House, and she was, like, you know, part of the story. Like, she had, like, lines and stuff. But because I lost her, that was the only character that I lost in the Red House. Yeah, she just immediately got cut from my roster, which was sucked. But which is even more interesting is that her lines got cut, you know? Yeah, every student has a line in here, you know what I mean? Got lines to fucking talk about. You know, talk about, like I said, character interactions, right? But as soon as they die, their character interactions cut off, which is an amazing attention to detail. Like, you know, you can just, like, you know, if characters die in battle, right? Like, they have to die in the story, too. They can't just, like, show up, and you can just be mad the fact that you couldn't use them in battle, but hey, at least in the story, no, they're not. If you lose them in battle, then you lose them in the story as well, which is like, oh my god, that is actually a beautiful mechanic in the game that I can't simp hard enough for. Like, that's so good. Rip Doritha, like, honestly, Doritha, opera singer. That's the Red House. That's not a spoiler, you know. You get to know your cast of students, you know what I mean? And Doritha was, you know, one of the characters in the Red House, so not a spoiler of the game, you know. Boo-hoo. Don't you dare go in the comments cry about how now you know why Doritha's in the Red House now, you know. It's a shame that at least lost Doritha, but, you know, it is what it is, you know what I mean? I love that character interaction, and yeah, the attention to detail is awesome. It is superb. Honestly, if there is even more attention to detail than story-wise, this game would be perfect, but it already has so much that the little stuff that they don't pay attention to is like, you know what, it's forgivable because they add so much attention to detail. There are some stuff that they do cut off that just doesn't make any sense. Like, if you recruit your characters, that they don't appear in the cutscenes as well. They don't appear, not in the cutscenes, but in the lines with your other fucking classmates. They don't integrate with your classmates and stuff like that as well. But, like, you know, that's fine, man. That's fine. Like, it's fine. If you recruit other people's, like, you know what? It's fine. You know what? It's fine. Because, you know, they do so much, so I'm not gonna hold that against them. Alright, now let's talk about the gameplay, right? Let's talk about the big boy gameplay. So, big boy gameplay. Something to keep a note, right? Something to keep a note. This game is kind of like, you ever play checkers? You ever play chess? It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that, the game. You move pieces around, and if they get near each other, then they fight each other, and it's kind of like chess, but it's not chess, you know. It's nothing like chess, but the movements are like chess and checkers, you know, which is really interesting, very interesting. You gotta know certain pieces can do like and I say pieces, but they're your students. But you know, just for the sake of gameplay wise, I'm gonna refer them as like pieces, like on a board, because it is basically, yeah, you're playing on a goddamn board, kind of like the map of the game. You know what I mean? Is kind of like a board, and so you have to move pieces around, like yeah, like it gets real complicated. Like the gameplay does get complicated because you have to like strategize. Okay, so how do we conquer the enemy leader? How do we destroy all enemies? How do we like defeat enemies within a certain time limit? You know, how do you do that as quickly as possible? You know, you have to know each character's weakness and strengths, like how you know, like, oh, certain pieces can only move like this and this and this and this and this, right? So like, yeah, like in chess, you know, that applies to this game as well. You know, oh, the knight class can only move this much, and the cavalry class can only move this and this much, and you know they got certain weakness to this, and they got certain weakness to this, and they got certain strengths against other types of classes, right? Which is pretty cool, very very cool. You also got things like battalions that like you can also assign armies to each goddamn chess piece, aka your students. You know. There's like different weapons you can attach to every goddamn student. So yeah, it's like chess, but like more complicated. That is basically my simple way of saying that. Chess as in like, oh, the map is like a grid and like your characters move like chess pieces, but different in that it's anime-like, and also there are different other stuff like battalions, like the armies I told about, and like weapons you can attach to them and all that good stuff. Like, ooh, the gameplay is definitely not exciting, but it definitely is strategic and very, very fun. It won't get your blood pumping. I mean, there will be some moments that will definitely get your blood pumping, especially the later fights when things get real, real tough, but not as in like action-packed. That's what I meant by excitement and all that, not as action-packed. But it's still is so much fun. So much fun, so exciting. Not exciting, but so much fun. It's not thrilling, you know what I mean? It's not thrilling, but it definitely can be intense. That's the word, intense. It's definitely intense. It can be very intense at times, which is great, which is awesome. And because I was playing on classic mode, right? Losing every character is, you know, kind of, you know, bad, and how, you know, I should avoid to not lose every goddamn character. And I only lost one character in my entire playthrough, which is kind of impressive. Until you realize that I've been abusing my saves. That's right. You can save before a fight, and so I would save before a fight. So I've never lost a fight in Fire Emblem Three Houses. It's not because the game is easy. Oh no, the game can be super duper challenging. It's just because I was able to abuse the saves in this game. So how you save in this game is you save before a fight, and you can also bookmark. Bookmarking aka saving during a fight. You can't do that, but you can save before and after a fight. You can't save during a fight, though. If you save during a fight, then this game is literally would be so easy, even on the hardest difficulty. But I played normal difficulty, and yeah, you can't save during a fight. You can only save during a fight, but at the cost of getting kicked out. So yes, you can save during a fight, but you will get kicked out of the game, which you can't abuse the save. I abuse the save anyway because I save before the fight, and if things get bad, I just restart the entire fight. And it's like playing chess, right? You know, you already done so many moves. You could be halfway through a fight, and it would take like an hour or something. But I would abuse the hell out of it, and just like, oh, if I fuck up too bad and I run out of like, you know, life. If I run out of like, if I run out of like resets and stuff like that, if I run out of like, oh, chances to change my like, you know, my strategy up a little bit, then I would just restart the fight and all that. I mean, yeah, this game is difficult. Like at the end, at least for me, playing the Red House, it can get really, really tough. And with my strategy of just, oh, like restarting like the match, if I, you know, lose one of my characters, that could take hours and hours. I would stay up like late, just like trying to make sure I don't lose any of my characters. And if I do lose any, I would have to like restart the match and just like and have to redo everything again. It's kind of like a chess match, right? Like, oh, you've already like gone halfway and you have to restart. Like, that'd be kind of painful, right? And so I'd have to do that a lot in order to like not lose any of my characters. But it was worth it. It was worth it. I enjoyed that aspect. Not enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy that aspect at all. But I enjoyed not losing any of my characters. I only lost Aretha because I lost her and I was going to restart. You know what I mean? Or reset my game. Not necessarily restart my battle, but reset my game. And if it gets real bad, obviously restart the battle. But before I reset my game, the game moved on, and Aretha cannot be saved. So yeah, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. For the most part, yeah, the game is definitely very complicated, but it definitely gives you a lot of good tutorials that if you read through, you definitely won't regret it. You know what I mean? It definitely does make the game much easier. Like this gameplay system is enough to like, it's not like thrilling, exciting, but it's definitely intense and fun. That's something that I can't compliment enough. The gameplay is awesome. And I guess last but not least, let's talk about the Let's talk about visuals and sound, right? So visuals, it's not that impressive. Artistically, it's very nice. It's very, very pretty. But visually, it's not like fucking 4K or whatever. It's whatever. You know what I mean? It's like not that impressive. But artistically wise, it's actually pretty beautiful. Like, hey, look at that art style, bro. The 3D animations can be a little bit kind of weird. But you know what? It's whatever. But the 2D though is pretty nice. Very, very, very nice. I really enjoyed the 2D art. The 3D art, it's your preferences, really. Your preferences on 3D anime in general. 3D anime art styles in general. But, 2D art is very nice. Very awesome. And you do get to see a little bit of that. You do, like a little bit, but not much. But you do get to see a little bit, which is nice. Awesome. But the biggest thing, though, is sound. Music. Oh my god, the music in this game is probably one of the best I've ever heard. Not in Fire Emblem, because this is the first Fire Emblem game I've ever played, but in like most anime games, most games in general I've played, like this game has one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard. Like, wow. Like the ending song, some of the fucking fights, some of the battle maps, like, oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. The music, the soundtrack is so intricate. It is so well crafted. Like, there are many instruments playing at the same time, but they all harmonize. They all fucking join together to create this perfect blend of a recipe. It is something of a master class. Like, if you don't like this game, buy this game for the soundtrack. Because, wow. I thought Genshin Impact music was good, but this is, so much better than that. Honestly, if you like, just, classical fucking... If you like... Oh my god. It's just so much blend of music and, when you go in different areas and stuff, there's always different tracks playing. The soundtrack makes you feel like you're in a fucking fantasy fucking world, and it really brings out this fucking game for sure. Like, this classical fucking fantastical vibe to every fucking song is just so good. And obviously there are certain fucking battle music that kind of changes, kind of fucking differentiates from the entire soundtrack. But other than that, it's just so good, so good. It is without a doubt, honestly, it is so like I would listen to this. Like I say I would listen to game OSTs like outside of fucking like outside of fucking after playing the game, whatever, right? I would listen to them, whatever. Yeah, I'm fucking bullshitting you. Like, I would listen to it, but I wouldn't actually listen to it. Yeah, this is one of those games where I would actually listen to the fucking soundtrack. You know what I mean? Like I would listen, but this one I would actually. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, the music slaps. The music slaps like dick. And this game is kind of like a light novel in that sense because the story-wise, this game, you know, uses a lot of text, so it's kind of like clicking through shit. But where am I going with this? They add voice acting, like speaking of sound, right? Speaking of sound and speaking of fucking story, they add voice acting to every single fucking line. Every major character, even in a side story, even in a fucking, even with different character interactions. They have voice lines, which is epic. The only time they don't have voice lines if you're talking to somebody that is, if you're talking to them out, that isn't too important, like at the fucking school. But literally anything that's not the fucking school, everybody will have voice lines, which is awesome. Like, I would say 90% of this game's dialogue, not 90%, 95% of this game's dialogue comes with voice acting, which is, when it comes with sound, like, that's awesome. Like, it definitely enriches the game and makes you just like, you know, makes you feel good. Makes you feel like, oh wow, you're part of this world. It makes the world more alive, and it's just something that's just so beautiful, honestly. Fuck. All right. And yeah, so with all that, right? With all that, what would I rate this game? This game is definitely, I would say definitely a 9 out of 10. All right, 9 out of 10. You know, I've been reviewing these games recently, and I've been giving these all these games 9 out of 10. But generally, I only review these games because I actually want to talk about them because I think they're so good. I haven't yet reviewed a game that is actually kind of so bad that I need to review this. But yeah. So far, I enjoyed that game. That game was so awesome that I had to fucking review it. Yeah. But for future reviews, I guess that's something to keep in mind, right? If I hate the game so much, I have to review this, or if I love this game so much, I have to review this. But that game deserves 9 out of 10 because, oh my god, you should buy. You should definitely get. If you enjoy a great story with plot twist, if you enjoy, this is a must. If you enjoy nice attention to detail, character interactions, if you enjoy character interactions so much, like you enjoy fucking symmetry, fucking, building relationships and stuff, like, that shit is so good. So good. Like, that is unparalleled. The different combinations are fucking insane. If you enjoy fucking, the attention to detail, to even the tiniest things, fucking great. If you enjoy strategy games, this is a must. This is definitely a must. If you like 3D anime, like art style, this is a must. I personally don't like it too much, but you know what? Everything else was great. So, yeah, yeah. So without saying, yeah. Without further ado, yeah, that has been my review. If you enjoy all those things, yeah, get the game. And without further ado, yeah, goodbye, everybody. I'll see you guys in the next one. Honestly, I guess director's cut. I don't want to review Doom anymore. It has something to do with the fucking what I said earlier. It's probably because I played Doom Eternal, but, like, I mean, I played Doom 2016, and I'm just like, it's just not the same as Doom Eternal, man. It's not the same as Doom Eternal, so, yeah. It's not like an instant banger or an instant boo-hoo. It's a good game, for sure, but it's not, like, a 10 or fucking 0, so I'm not gonna review it. Yeah, I'm just, like, I'm not, you know, we're gonna cut the quits on that. Alright, bye. For reals. For reals.